since you mentioned mentoring, I'd like to dig into that a bit more. You stated the importance of it, but I'm just wondering what's your advice for how a new or even a seasoned pro can seek out a mentor, or if that's the way it happens. And then what are your tips for working with your chosen mentor?
So open. Wow. Since we have an hour and 45 left, let me tell you, Paul Chek we know and love, and he talks about the four doctors. I like to talk about the three mentors. What, Lawrence? I can barely afford one, and how are you telling me that I need three mentors? We do. If you want to soar, you can fly or get by or float, but if you want to soar, you need three mentors. And three mentors are paramount to have, of course, with the certifications that we need and all the tools you need, but having mentors is not addressed in the books of certifications. That's how to do no harm, right? But how to succeed in business and find the other people who know where the bones are buried, if millennials may not understand that metaphor, but who know the secrets of the industry because they made them and paid for them, made and paid. Well, we can glean. If you get a Roomba, one of those robots for your floor, or an air fryer, or a Japanese rice cooker, I like to use the analogy of those things that if you only know the manual that comes with those, you're going to be cleaning a very small part of your floor, or from controlled by your electric device and handheld, or only making rice in your Japanese rice cooker or your air fryer for potatoes. However, if you get on YouTube, if you talk to your friends, if you share recipes, your world is blown and your time well spent.
Yep.
And you're not serving something that other people can't have. So I believe in three mentors in our fitness industry. The first is for content, somebody who teaches the content of what you love to do. Number two, delivery. Somebody who teaches how you love to deliver it. And if you find the same thing in one person that you otherwise call hashtag fitness god, then you go for that with a small g. Number three, the third mentor you need is somebody outside, like the person reading our evaluations, of your industry,
Mm-hmm.
whose eyes will always be fresh. And for the Fit Pro Show, I'm going to reveal on the first time ever, as we're speaking today, my three, because I think it's great for people to sort of relate to the nuts and bolts of what happens. I go up to Len Kravitz for content, and we work out a system where I will say in public, he's my mentor. He's very sweet also to say in the backs and fronts of his books that I am one of his. Very sweet. We have a
Oh,
wonderful, honest relationship. Whenever I'll do a keynote and he'll come in, he'll say, "Oh, Lawrence, that was great." And then it's a script. I'll say, "Great, thank you, Len. Now, what did you really think?" Then I cry, and then I process, and then I grow because no one grows by feeling comfortable. You don't go on holiday laying with a tequila, whatever, in your hand at the beach and say, "Everything's comfortable. I'm so glad to be resting. I'm really growing now as a person." Nuh-uh. It's through the suffering that we grow. So you need to
yeah.
hire somebody who's content honest, and that's Len. He's research based. If I'm not teaching something that's research based, I don't want to do it unless you're hiring me to talk about tell me gossip in the fitness industry, and that's not really sort of who I am. It's not research based. It's sort of what's happened to you. Number two, you hire you hire a mentor for delivery, and that right now is Mark Fisher. I know you know Mark Fisher, and we know
Mm-hmm.
and love Mark Fisher. And after I actually, paradoxically, ironically, discovered him and introduced him to you and introduced him to a couple other fitness conventions, for which I am super glad that things have worked out in so many ways for him and for IDEA. I've hired him to tell me a couple great things that I need to hear about the delivery. On his YouTube channel, the way he'll talk to people is so not fingers up any orifices, and it's really not everybody's vocabulary, but that's the way I aspire to be. So I take that. And number three, Connie Towers, my dear friend Constance Towers, who's on General Hospital, killing
Yes.
people off when she's not shooting Hallmark Christmas lovey movies. Then she's the one outside of my industry that not only is one of my three that reads my evaluations, but she's also one of my people that I've dedicated in some way every book I've ever written to because she teaches me eloquence and how to be what Jay Blahnik calls a first class human being.
Mm.
And so those are my three mentors. And you find them by finding the people who do how, what, or outside of our industry that you want to be. And you say, "I'd love to discuss possible mentoring relationship opportunities and find out if we could work out something." Many times it's not even a financial exchange, Sandy. You can just say, "Well, I'm really good at massage, or I'm really good at social media, or how about if I could get you some 50 really nice likes from authoritative people that I have on my database and I
Mm.
persuade," whatever it is. I think you have to be creative. Unless your excuses are greater, your why has to be more great.
so creative and resourceful, and thank you for sharing who your mentors are. I'm curious about how you approach them. Was it in person? Was it via email? I mean, if knowing you as I do, I'm certain it was probably in person. You just, made the ask, but tell me if I'm wrong.
You are correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. With Len Kravitz, he would come to my keynotes and I'd see him in everybody's keynote. He is the presenter's presenter. He appreciates and supports every single person. And I would say to him, "What'd you think?" "Oh, that was great. Thank you." And that was it. The first time we ever had that kind of interaction. And I'm thinking, nobody thinks 100% that. Len's standards are on a scale of 1 to 10. His standards are 13, right? So what'd you really think? And then we went back and forth. And what could I do for him? Came up with some options. What could he do for me? Continue to tell me his truth based on his eyes and what he knows in the industry. Mark Fisher, maybe there was a little bit of feeling towards the gratitude of the idea and the relationships that are paying him money moving forward. So he cut me a really great rate for the 30, 45, and 60-minute conversations that we have, allowing me to bank time, which is also creative. IDEA listeners, if you get someone on the phone and you're buying 30, 50, whatever minutes, always say in advance, "Can I negotiate
I know, Lawrence, you
much about
froze.
that?"
Just to back up and start that thought
Okay.
again. You froze on me.
Okay. Sorry. Am I back to normal?
You're back. You're frozen again. You're frozen. I don't know what's going on. My
Me,
signal
me.
is strong, so check your signal and we'll just start that thought again when you're ready.
Okay, I will in a second. Let's give 10 seconds because I'll turn on a booster, which I never need, but I don't know. Can you hear me? I see you
Yeah,
blinking, so that's
you're
good.
fine.
Okay. I think I won't go to Len, but I'll go back to Mark Fisher.
Yeah, you were on Mark Fisher.
Okay. With Mark Fisher, I think there might have been a little bit of friendship and colleague gratitude going on because of the introductions I had made that are really using his services, like with IDEA in a couple of different ways, and that's a plethora of introduction. And so he cut me a great rate for the 30, 45, 60-minute phone calls, and think it was kind of visionary to say, before we have this phone call, Mark, can I bank it? In other words, can I cut it in half? I want 15 minutes today and then maybe 30 or 45 minutes in the future. And all my IDEA friends and family listening, always when you're going to have time with your mentor, suggest that because you're going to be thinking whirlwinds after your conversation and say, "Oh, but now that spurs this conversation. And what about this? And oh, what about the time I tried that, but I didn't have time to ask?" Sort of like going to confession and you forget that one sin and you beat yourself up, right? Well, no, you've already banked time to go back to Mark and say, "Well, I saved my 20 minutes. Here they are." Always do that. And it's not always just about a cash exchange, cash for money. And remember, when you find the people that do what you do, or can offer what you're willing to pay for in some way, there has to be some kind of energy exchange, which is the buzzword these days. Remember another acronym, this, THIS, T, trust. Trust that your mentor will hold your growth, not your hand. You might cry. You're not going to a mentor to sugarcoat and give you 5 great things to keep doing and then the one big thing that's going to change your life. No, just tell me the 10 big things that are going to make me better. I'll cry on my own, and I have my own wine cabinet and friends support system to process what you give me, but you have to trust your mentor. Number 2, honesty. Give your mentor what will and will not work for you or what you're willing and not willing to do. Then say, yeah. Oh, what a great idea. And 2 months later, when you check in, you haven't even tried and opened up your Twitter account or one in your name. Number 3, inquire about compensation regularly. Just to think, well, I could afford the first call and no more, but my life has changed. Maybe you have something more creative to offer or suggest the last time. And the 4 of THIS is step up. If you are working with a mentor, do what you're going to say you're going to do. Or if somebody says, well, you need to post this way or at least use this hashtag of the 30 you're allowed to use, and you haven't used it, oh my goodness, I get so frustrated. Trust, honesty, inquire, and step up.
Yeah, another great acronym with a lot of lessons in it. And really, it's just having a mentor is a way of busting out of your bubble to
Thank you.
to grow, stretch, expand yourself, and
And save money.
absolutely. Yep.
Right.
That's one of those career lessons to save yourself frustration and money. Go straight to a source that you really admire, and have them be really honest with you, and you do the things that they're suggesting, really, because that's why you went to them in the first place.
Absolutely. And somebody doesn't have to have mentor on a website. To go up to Kelly Roberts, to go up to Mindy Milray and say, I'd really love to mentor with you. What are my options? Can we have a discussion? Is great. You just go to their website, click on the bottom right, contact us, contact me, go to social media. It doesn't take a brain surgeon.